Well, thank you guys. Yeah, you just heard a sneak preview about what I'm going to talk about. We looked into the science behind the walk. Just as exciting as the walk itself is actually the cable that they're using. So take a look at what we found out. We were lucky enough to learn about the science of Nick Wallenda's historic walk across Niagara Falls from an expert in daredevil engineering, Nick Wallenda himself.
Science and engineering, what a huge part of what I do. Behind me here is my lead engineer, who happens to be my uncle. My uncle Mike Trofer is my lead engineer, and then also my father, who is my head rigger and stunt coordinator, as well as my safety coordinator.
Technology has made it much easier for Wallenda and his team to create a safe cable walk.
As technology grows and advances, it makes my life much easier. Back when my great-grandfather and ancestors walked the cable, they had no way to tell how taut the wire was other than visually, other than look at it. Well, I can tell you down to the pound, down to the ounce, how tight that wire is right now. I can tell you how far it sags in the middle. I can tell you the degree of the incline on the way up.
Almost as impressive as the walk across Niagara Falls will be is the rigging process of the cable.
Started with the helicopter. Helicopter came over here and grabbed a rope, actually, brought a rope to the other side, and that rope went through a series of machinery called tensioners and pullers. They're used in the power industry when they're stringing power lines between gorges.
Well, it may sound like this has all been done before. It hasn't. Wallenda went into details about how this is a first for tightrope walking and what problems that brings with it.
And this is the first time in the history of tightrope walking that anyone's rigged a cable this long without any stabilizers. Normally every 50 feet there's a cable coming off right and left going down to the ground. And so what that does is that keeps that cable from swinging out from under my feet. So in this distance, no one's ever walked a cable like this, and that's one of the reasons why we've had to go with a larger cable and pull it to a tauter tension, and that's why those pendulums are hanging on the cable as well. So those pendulums grab the wire, and there's a weight down at the bottom. They're all different lengths, and they're all spaced out differently, and the reason why is that cable can get a frequency in it. And being a frequency is what happens is as I walk, I can create a rhythm, and that rhythm will get larger and larger and larger. And if those pendulums were centered in the exact same height, exact same length, they would actually create a rhythm, and that wire would just actually kick me off like a bucking bronco.
The more information that is given out, the more exciting this walk becomes. And even if the science doesn't interest you, it's still not every day that history is made in your own backyard. You know, the more I was hearing about it, like the sort of logistics of it, the more dangerous it sounds.
I have to agree with you, but his shoes, Nick Wallenda's shoes, are going to help him a lot.
So we've been hearing about these shoes that his mother makes so much about how it's better when they're wet. The reason is they're made up with an elk hide, so the elk hide will get sticky when moisture hits it.
Okay.
So they kind of grip on. I kept thinking of Spider-Man with his grippy fingers, kind of like that, but just shoes.
It reminds me like when you run suicides in a gym and you like put water on the bottom of your sneakers
so they grip
to get
a
more
little bit
traction.
It just seems... the science of it really interested me. It just seems like there's so much work that put into it.
And it's all going to unfold.
I know,
later
right
tonight.
before our very eyes. Right now, something equally as exciting is unfolding what the word I'm looking for, who knows?
Unfolding.
In our kitchen. Right now with Chef Tom and Victoria. How are you guys?
Oh,